So I saw the Snow White movie a few days ago, and I have a lot to say. In this video, I'm going to be diving into Disney's live-action remake of Snow White. Now, I don't want to get into the controversy that this movie had between the filming process, the film stars, basically anything else because I feel like it's unnecessary. Instead, I will be going over some things I liked about the film and things I didn't like about the film. And I will be giving my own personal opinion on the film itself. Let's begin. I forgot to mention that this video will contain some spoilers since this is a spoiler review, so if you are planning on seeing the movie, please don't watch it. Or if you just don't care, I am not here to stop you from watching this video. The first thing I want to talk about are the positives about this film, specifically the things that I enjoyed about watching this film. First up is Rachel Zegler as Snow White, more specifically, her singing voice. I grew up watching Disney's animated films as a kid, and from what I took away from each of their princess films is the fact that all the princesses have lovely singing voices. So when Disney was creating a live-action remake of Snow White, I was hoping to expect Disney to cast an actress who can sing, because one of Snow White's character traits is to be a singing princess, and Rachel Zegler checks the box for that. Even though it's not as high-pitched just like the classic, she still has a very lovely voice. I do, however, wish that she used her head voice when singing as Snow White, since I feel like it would make the film much better, but Disney did not give her any creative freedom whatsoever. Now, a lot of critics had criticized Disney for casting Rachel simply because she is Latina, but honestly, to me, I don't see an issue with this. But there were also some things in her interviews that she did say that I personally don't agree with, but I'm still giving her prompts for her strong voice. Next, let's talk about the CGI, the animals in this movie. Surprisingly, they honestly had a lot of pure magic. From the birds to the forest creatures, they looked incredible, and I felt like they really add to the fairy tale atmosphere. You can tell they spent some serious time making these animals look lifelike, and honestly, it makes the Enchanted Forest feel like a real living place. Now, I did mention the CGI of animals before, but it was more of a negative perspective in one of my videos. In the video, I stated that turning animals from animation into real life by using CGI is pretty difficult because there are times where the animals just have a lack of expressiveness. Looking at you, the Lion King. However, Snow White is an exception for me, since I feel like Disney had improved on the CGI, because looking at this and the upcoming Lilo & Stitch live action film, they seem to be praised as seen in other reviews I read. Now onto the not so great parts. One of the biggest issues I had while watching this film is the storytelling and pacing. This movie kind of drags at times. Some scenes feel rushed, while others feel like they're never ending. It's hard to stay fully engaged when the movie doesn't know what speed it wants to go at. Next is the CGI of the 7 dwarves. While I thought the CGI for the animals was good, the dwarves were not good, sadly. There are so many actors out there who have dwarfism who can really bring each of the dwarves to life, and I wish Disney gave them a chance. But nope. They had to use CGI, and honestly, it just doesn't work. The dwarves lack a lot of charm and the depth that the original characters had. They come off as stiff and a little lifeless. Definitely not the most convincing aspect of the film. Another issue I have with this film is the lack of emotional depth. The movie tries to modernize Snow White and add more action, but it loses the heart and charm that made the original so beloved. The emotional moments just don't hit the same way. They feel forced, and you don't really connect with the characters the way you're supposed to. Next are the changes that were made to the story. Some of them just didn't need to happen. For example, I got really confused on the whole bandits being added into the story because not only was that unnecessary, but they are so extremely forgettable. Besides Jonathan and the other one who says he is a master of using the crossbow, I do not know his name. I feel like the other bandits are just there, and we don't really know much about. I also want to point out the fact that Dopey actually speaks in this movie. And could you not, my jaw was on the floor when I first heard him spoke, as well as the plot twist of him being the narrator of the story. This was so out of pocket, and I did not know how to feel about this at all. The plot alterations felt a bit forced, and honestly, they detract from the magic of the original. A lot of what made the original story timeless just gets lost in these changes. Next is Gal Gadot's acting. Gal Gadot as the evil queen. Honestly, I was pretty disappointed. She just doesn't bring the complexity or menace the character needs. It's very one note, and the queen ends up feeling more like a cardboard cutout villain than a truly evil force. Also, her singing is very poor. I know for a fact that Gal Gadot doesn't have a strong voice, and I can most likely tell that her song was auto-tuned. It's harsh, but I genuinely believe that she was miscast. And then, the final one, the costuming. I was expecting something more grand, but honestly, a lot of the outfits feel really basic and uninspired. For a fairy tale movie, I expected costumes that popped more, especially for someone like the evil queen. But instead, it felt a little flat and not as magical as it should have been. As well as Snow White's costume. They honestly really did Rachel Zegler so dirty. Her costume just feels too childish. Also, please give Rachel a different hairstyle. Now, this was something that I personally had envisioned for the costumes, and I wish they went with that instead. The costumes just look cheap, and it doesn't resonate well with the film at all. Overall, Snow White is a bit of a mixed bag. Is this a good film? No. Is this a bad film? Also no. I personally didn't think it was as bad as everyone says. I just find the film mediocre at best. While Rachel Zegler shines as the lead and the CGI animals are definitely impressive, it's where the story falls apart. The pacing drags, and some of the creative choices just don't land.